And we're live, and good evening and welcome to episode 20 of the Vegan Hour. And tonight I am joined by the lovely Renee from Anonymous for the Voiceless, and Renee looks after the Gold Coast chapter. So as you guys are coming online, what I'm going to do is just let you know about some of the events that are happening this weekend, and then we're going to get into talking about Anonymous for the Voiceless. So I can see people popping up there. Brian says, yay, wow, he's on it already. Stephen O'Brien's watching, Lindy's watching. Thank you, guys. Oh, the numbers are popping up rather rapidly. Let's just see how you look on my browser here, or how we look, I should say. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, we look a little bit pixelated. That'll clear itself up in a minute. Okay, right, and hi from Port Macquarie, Phoebe. Thank you for saying hi from Port Macquarie. Okay. This weekend, there's a few excellent events happening. This Saturday, June the 10th, there's the March to Close All Slaughterhouses at 10:30 a.m. in King George Square in Brisbane. That's Anthony Walscott from Save a Cow.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
he's organised that. So get yourself along to that one. And then bend time and space by being back on the Gold Coast at 12 o'clock to be at my vegan live lunch at Mandela's. I don't know how you do that, but Brian's, okay, comments are coming up so quick, I can't even get through the events. Brian says, come hear me on the megaphone. So this Saturday at the March to Close All Slaughterhouses, Brian will be on the megaphone.
Awesome.
Jessica says, so proud of you, Renee.
Oh, thanks, Jess.
And it's Jess, Tara, Amy, and Lily are here.
Nice, the whole family.
That's the whole family. Wow, that's fantastic. So that's Saturday. So Sunday, Renee will be having the Anonymous for the Voiceless Cube of Truth. You'll be at opposite McDonald's in Surfers Paradise on the Esplanade from 11 a.m. on Sunday.
Yes, 11 till 2:30.
And last Sunday was an amazing turnout of activists, wasn't it?
That was incredible.
That was fantastic. 30 odd people there.
So impressed.
So a wall of black. So come along, show support, help out. So yeah, keep the momentum going. Also on Sunday, if you're in Brisbane, there's the Brisbane Vegan Markets from 9 a.m. at Boundary Street, which are awesome. Lots of vegan food and other vegan stalls there. And Jean Daglish from Jacaranda Animal Advocates Movement will also be at the Brisbane Vegan Markets, and she'll be doing her jam session. So that's where she goes around, and that's her form of activism, with all dressed in purple or jacaranda colours, and banging drums and just attracting attention, letting people know about animal rights that way. So I'm seeing a lot of comments come up here, which is fantastic. I like it when it's straight off the bat. Where Brian says, where did all those people come from? Was it my speech? Jelena says, you rock, people. Greetings from Serbia. Serbia is a fair distance away. That's fantastic. That is pretty impressive. So I think that was the main things I wanted to mention. I also want to just do a shout out to my sponsors. Now, in the background, you're going to see something slightly different tonight. Not only are you going to see my sponsors, Vegan Frothers, and you can see their sign there. Underneath it, you'll be looking at a sign that at the moment, if you're watching this on live stream, it's backwards. But when you watch this later on YouTube, it'll be the right way around. It says truth. And underneath it, what are we actually looking at underneath it here? Can you just talk us through this a little bit, Renee, just to get the show going? What are we looking at?
This is some of the footage that we show at the Cube of Truth, and it's basically the gestation crates that pigs are kept in, and they're artificially inseminated over and over, and they're basically kept in here for the majority of their life. They're unable to move.
So they're living there for the majority of their life.
They are.
It's unimaginable, isn't it?
Incredible.
That's just... Yeah, and what we're looking at, yes, it's pretty. So I mean, this. Oh, hang on. So if we disappeared, you'll understand. River's watching. Good on you, River. Mitzi says hi from Israel.
Wow.
We're Serbia, Israel.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And Jelena says, I knew it, I should not send greetings now, I ruined live video. Shy says, hey Shy, thank you for watching, says back on, that's good. And Brian says, Renee is so popular, she broke the vegan hour.
Thanks,
so, okay, so in the background, what are we looking at now? I just want to, can you talk us through this?
Yes.
What we're seeing here?
In the egg industry, unfortunately, all the male baby chicks are killed because they can't lay eggs. So they're killed in a macerator, which is kind of like a giant blender.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
interrupt you for a second
Yeah.
there. I'm getting indications. No, audio is back on. Okay, sorry.
Okay, great.
So the male chicks are of no use to the egg industry, are they?
That's right. The male
Yeah.
baby chicks on the first day of life are killed in a macerator, which is like a giant blender, I guess. And it's because they can't lay eggs. And that's irrespective of whether they're free range or organic. They're a waste product in the industry. It's incredibly sad.
They are born to die.
They're literally creating life just to kill it, which is absolutely crazy. It's nuts.
It is completely nuts, isn't it? It's just how do we justify that on any level of humanity at all? You know, it's just ridiculous.
And the fact that it's legal blows my mind.
Yes. Now this is an interesting point. Actually, I'd like to talk about a bit tonight, but
Yes.
or maybe we should. Animal Hitlers, Jessica says. I'm actually trying to share the show a little bit here, but I'm having trouble, so I'm just going to read the comments. Animal Hitlers, yes. Well, I talk about the Holocaust, and I think you would agree it's a Holocaust.
It's a Holocaust.
Yeah.
They're the most oppressed beings to ever live on this planet. The animal Holocaust was happening, you know, before Hitler, during Hitler, after Hitler. And it's just, all we've got to do is try and bring awareness to the people that it exists, because what's crazy is that so many people don't even know that this is happening. Like they don't really think about it, the fact that it's happening.
Yes, so this is where what we're seeing here is some of the footage that is shown when Anonymous for the Voiceless goes out to the public.
That's right.
With the intention of actually
bringing awareness to
them. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
The ones that are open enough to receive it.
And now that's a good point.
Yes.
Because it is confronting. It's rocking their worldview, isn't it? Their comfy little worldview of ignorance is bliss or whatever.
That's right. And ignorance is bliss. And I was there. I've only been vegan a year and a half. And you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Like, yes, that's true. That's true. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So how do you find that you've been doing Anonymous for the Voices here on the coast? Since last year, late last year?
Yeah, I'd say late last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you find generally people's reactions actually are? There's I'm just sorry. The comments coming up so quick. I'm going to have to keep reading the comments. Jessica says it's worse because the animals are defenseless, and that's a good point.
Exactly.
It's incredibly cowardly, isn't it?
It is.
It's really and Matt says, hey guys, you both know I'm with you in spirit, Renee.
I said the same thing to you.
That's right. You did too
thanks,
when he was on. Yes, that's right. And Steve says, I can hear you now, which is always handy.
Well, that helps.
Yes. Otherwise, you're just watching the video in the background.
Yeah.
And Mitzi says, the nightmare of the animal holocaust shall only end when humans wake up. And that's spot on, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
And that's what AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless, is trying to do, wake people up.
That's what we're trying to do.
So generally speaking, I mean, I've done 2 events with you guys now. Generally speaking, how do you find the general public reacts?
There's 3 groups of people. Okay. So you've got the groups that become aggressive and defensive and will often say a little comment under their breath as they walk past, like, oh, you know, you kids are here, or we don't need to see this, or you're in the way.
Right. Okay.
That group.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. And we usually get at least one.
Yeah.
And then you've got the group that walk past and pretend they don't see and don't want to see, don't want to know.
Yeah.
Danny, bless his heart, Danny Hanson last week was actually trying to talk to people as they were walking past, but they were just insistent, like, no. He's like, are you an animal lover? No, keep walking. Like, just don't want to know. They want to go down to the beach and put their head back in the sand.
Yeah.
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 And then you've got the people that actually are open, are receptive, and will hear what you have to say and will listen. And they're the ones we're aiming for, obviously.
Obviously. So I was going to say, you wouldn't, you sort of feel where the person's at, don't you? You feel them out, and you don't try and direct too much energy on somebody that's not willing to listen. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, there's 3 stages to veganism. The first is interest. The second is knowledge, and the third is action.
Action. Yeah.
So very quickly, I've got to work out if there's any interest. And if there is already interest, get that knowledge into them really quickly. Yeah, so try and tell them as much as you can about all the industries and yeah, get that knowledge happening so that they can move through the steps.
We've got some nice comments there. We all think you were doing an amazing job from Karen. Thank you both from Mitzi. Cindy says, hated that one guy who walked by and said, well, that's just life, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Can I just make a point there, Cindy? Just on that comment, I know this is just my personal philosophy. I know personally for us, or for me, it's common, or for most people, okay, I'll put it this way, it's common for most people to make a comment like that, to say, oh, I hate when people do that, right?
Yeah.
But I personally, I'm not saying anyone else has to take this on board, but I personally challenge myself to say, that's the person that actually needs more understanding and more compassion and more love.
That's true.
Because it's easy to love someone that's easily lovable.
Yes.
It's the one that throws it back at you, is the one that you need to step back and go, okay, don't take this personally. This is their issue. And I should be actually trying to understand where they're coming from and try and direct compassion at them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
they're the ones that you need to give the most positive energy towards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on the same page on that one. Yeah,
absolutely.
So do you have a good sort of opening line that you tend to resort to on a regular basis when people are showing interest? They're standing there, they're coming up, they're seeing this, it's sort of like, oh, what's this about? They come closer and
So usually I walk up and I just say, hey, how you doing? I usually try to approach from the side. I find if you come from the side, it's less confronting than going front on.
That's good, yes.
And just very pleasant, because obviously it's a lot harder to be rude to someone who's been really pleasant to you. So, hi, how you going today? And what do you think of the footage here? Or you say, oh, have you seen much footage like this before? So they're probably my top two that I say.
Okay, and that's that. So you find it good? Do you find it good to sort of ask them questions then, to sort of get their feedback of what they're experiencing, what their understanding of it is, where they're at, what their feelings are?
We're trying to get them talking.
Yes.
And because a lot of people, when they come and first, watch the footage, I'm sure their intention isn't to start having a conversation. They just want to quickly check it out and move on. So we've got to try and get them into a conversation. So just so what do you think of the footage? You can't say yes or no to that. Yes. No, you can't. How can you do that?
That's good.
You have to actually say something. You have to say a sentence.
Yes, you have to use questions that don't have a yes/no answer.
Yes, that's right.
Brilliant. You know your stuff.
I try.
you know
I have to if I'm running it.
You do, and you run it so well. I'm super impressed. Cindy says, fair enough. It's hard sometimes, though. That's in reference to trying to show compassion towards people that we don't think are lovable. You've got to love the ones that we don't think are lovable.
Yeah, it can be very hard.
Now, George asked a good question. Jessica asked. No, I've lost the question. Somebody wants to. Who just asked a question about setting up one in Noosa? The questions are going through so quick that I actually missed it. Can you ask your question again? George says, I had no interest in veganism before making the change. Just being exposed to it at the right time is more than enough. And timing is actually essential too. There comes a time when you are open to things.
Yeah, timing's crucial.
It's crucial, okay, so it must have been Heather that asked about setting up a chapter in Noosa. So Jessica has said Heather should get in contact with you. So, and yes, Heather said, I want to start a group in Noosa.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yes, that would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Mitzi says, the anger directed at vegans is anger at the non-vegan's own reflection. Spot on.
Yeah.
We but hold up the mirror of truth. Oh, thank you.
That's true.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. That's exactly right. Phoebe says, if I'd seen the footage earlier, my 37 years as vegetarian would have been cut short and I would have become vegan earlier. Now, that's an interesting point, isn't it?
Yes.
In talking to people, how many people do you get that are vegetarian that have not made the connection? Do you get a few?
Many.
So many, really? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every event.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So, and Heather is asking, please let me know who to contact. So you need to contact Renee, who is tagged in the photo below this live stream, if you're looking at the live stream from my page. If you're not, I will put Renee's name up now. Hang on, why didn't that come up? It's only one N, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, should come up. Tell me you exist.
MECH.
No, I have
No.
to do a different way of tagging it. Okay, let's try it.
There.
There we go. Okay, I have just put Renee's name there, so send her a message because she runs the Gold Coast chapter and she can help you set up that one because
No
she does
problem.
such a good job here. Mitzi says, once I changed my perspective that it's about them and not me, going vegan became the easiest thing. That's another good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's about them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was 38 when I went vegan, which
You're not even 38 now. Get out of town. Come on.
like, and I hate that. I hate that it took me that long, but I didn't have the knowledge.
Yes.
I didn't know about the dairy industry. I thought that I was told as a child that we were doing the cows a favour by milking them.
By milking them, that's right.
That
Otherwise,
they
get,
milked,
that's right. Otherwise, they explode or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then it was painful for them.
Yes, it was painful. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, but what has happened, of course, in recent years, there's been quite a number of people, farmers, ex-farmers, and that have worked in the dairy industry that have come out and said they've spoken the truth.
Which is amazing.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
they've come out and said, no, you know, this is what we're telling you, that, you know, what goes on in the dairy industry really is as bad as you're finding out that it is. You know?
Exactly.
Matt says AV is by far the most effective activism going. Our best is 304 conversions in one cube in Sydney.
That's mind-blowing.
Whoa, that is mind-blowing. That is really impressive. Matt also says, watching the reaction from the public who view the screens while wearing the mask is golden. Yes, it gives me hope that people do care. That is something I wanted to touch on because I've only done the 2 AV events with you guys.
Yeah.
And the first one I did, I got on the TV with the mask on. Well, I held the TV with the mask. I think that was the first thing I did.
Yeah.
And you said to me, it's interesting to watch their eyes.
It really is.
Yeah, and it is. I thought because you do become anonymous when you're standing there.
You do.
And so that sort of, you can relax into that persona, I guess, and watch people's reactions and all that. And so I found that interesting. And then I also found it very empowering to actually then do what you're doing, to actually say, hey, well, what do you think of this footage?
Yeah,
you know,
and it took me a long time to make that change from being in the cube to being an outreacher. I found that really scary at first.
Well, it can be. It can be,
very,
definitely, yeah.
Very intimidating.
But one of the things that you know really well to do is to come from your heart. Come from what you know is right in your heart, and that's what the advice you were giving me earlier, and that's absolutely spot on. And Mitzi says you have a beautiful light aura even online. Isn't that fantastic? She's talking about you, obviously, not me. Heather grew up on a dairy farm, been to theology school, and a qualified nutritionist, so can talk about this on many different levels. Excellent. That's really good. Yes, and that's Heather who wants to set up the chapter in Lisa. That's excellent. Yeah, Jessica says such good vibes. Amanda says love your work, Renee.
Thanks,
and Phoebe says hubby put up truth about male chicks. 2 people called him a liar until he linked the RSPCA site which condones the practice. We need to tell the truth, otherwise our silence condones torture. Well, if you keep watching the repeat in the back, actually I think we're on the video now, aren't we? That will show the male chicks going into the macerator. Is that right?
Yes, and they also sometimes suffocate them.
Suffocate them.
And that's another way. Yeah.
So I mean, the truth is right there in the background, and this is Australian footage too, isn't it?
It's Australian footage. Yeah.
So,
all Australian.
Which is, you know, it's sad that we have to say that it's Australian footage because you know, some people use the cop out of saying, oh, but it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, and we get that a lot.
And it would be nice to be able to say, well, yeah, it doesn't happen here, but unfortunately it does.
That's right. Yeah. And a lot of people do say, oh, yeah, but obviously this is an Australian footage, and we have to point out that it is, and that's usually shocking to people. So it's just there's a lot of, so you'll find that you've probably heard in the time you're doing it every justification for why people shouldn't go vegan. Every excuse.
Every excuse, every justification. Yeah. So what are some of the more common ones, I guess, or the more, the ones that you hear quite often?
Okay, so it's a circle of life.
Oh, it's not. It's a circle of death.
Yeah, death and torture. That's right.
Oh, it's a circle of death. I'll just interrupt you. It's unusual for me to have this many comments coming through. So I'm
There's
interrupting
a lot
you.
happening.
There's a lot
There's a lot
happening.
happening.
See your star quality here. So Brian says the sound is finally working. Thought the feed was taking Voiceless too seriously. Oh, that was good. And Karen says, so proud to call you my BFF.
Thanks, Kaz.
Now we should do a shout out for Brian because it's tomorrow that Toowoomba has its first AV event. It's Anonymous for the Voiceless event. That is fantastic.
It's amazing.
Brian Hall, who was due to be on the show last week before I became ill, and who will be on the show next month, he has set up an event in Toowoomba tomorrow. So excellent. Excellent. That is really fantastic.
I'm so proud of
anyone in Toowoomba that's watching now or anyone that can make it to Toowoomba for tomorrow, can you give us some details on that, Brian? Time and location, please. Mitzi says, the light of truth is the only path to end the darkness of the animal holocaust. And that's exactly right, because anything that combats darkness is light. So that's spot on. I am loving the quality of your comments, guys. Half of these I'm going to have to turn into little memes or something and put them on my page because they're brilliant comments. So a lot of fantastic truth coming through here. Elaine Mitchell, who has a vegan B&B in Mullumbimby.
Oh, wow.
Or which is, I'm not sure if it's open yet, but it's meant to be happening soon. Says, Phoebe, yes, Phoebe, people do not believe the chicks are macerated. How can the RSPCA condone this horror? The RSPCA, where should we go with
that? I don't even want to start on the RSPCA.
Neither do I.
Oh, there's so much frustration with them.
RSPCA approved cruelty.
It is. Approved cruelty. That's a great way of putting it.
They should be renamed the Royal Society for Preservation of Cruelty to Animals, not prevention.
Absolutely.
They've lost the plot.
Cruelty.
They endorse cruelty. They literally endorse cruelty.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Matt says, I think next year when the Australian film Dominion comes out, and that's the one from Lucent director, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, well, I've forgotten his name.
Chris
Delforce.
Yes.
Yeah, had a mental block then.
Yep.
So Dominion, which is the follow-up, hang on, let me just get the rest of his comment. It's going to hit MLA hard, and for that matter, the Australian dairy and egg industry. The veil is being lifted and the darkness is being brought, and the comment disappeared. Why is it going so quick? Okay, Brian says, corner of Ruthven and Margaret Street tomorrow in Toowoomba.
2 p.m. Yep.
At 2 p.m.
I saw that earlier.
Good, okay, great, okay. The intersection out front of the old bank. So get up there and help out Brian. Brian did a talk, another shout out, did a talk at an environmental event in Toowoomba on the weekend, and I posted it on my timeline a couple of days ago, and it was awesome. So really good connecting the environmental damage that is being done by animal agriculture, you know, going to these events and connecting. We had, maybe I think 2 years ago, we had an environmental event here in Burleigh, and they did not make any connection.
Oh, really?
And and one of my friends went up and spoke briefly about veganism being, you know, very, very, very important consideration. Crucial, and they basically just went, well, thanks for that at the end, and just brushed them off, and that was, you know, it was like,
wow.
It was like, okay. River says, my question, and this would be the question, is why do people care so much if it's Australian? Good question. Is if that happens anywhere, it's still an atrocity. It doesn't lessen its immorality, and that's exactly right, River. I don't get why people ask that question either. Do you?
I think it's not that it's less important overseas. I guess it's just directly related to our diet in Australia. If we're asking people to go vegan in Australia, I guess they're directly saving lives. Am I?
Well, no, it makes sense. I mean, I didn't have any idea why people might be thinking that's important, but it does make sense. I think that's Phoebe said RSPCA killing almost as many animals as PETA. That's a good point. that's another contentious one with PETA. Lindy says, hello. Brian says, thank you. First speech in the first event I'll be running too. Hoping this inspires Toowoomba vegans to run more AV events. Yes, let's hope so. Brian, have you connected with Marilyn Orr up there? Because she is fantastic with the events. She was responsible for putting the big roadside signs. Have you seen them? The massive billboards?
Yes.
She was responsible for organising that for up there. So if you're not in touch with her, you should be. I can't keep up with these comments. I've never seen comments go past so fast. This is amazing. Guys, I'll just say, oh yeah, Brian says Mo is awesome. She is awesome. She's
Yeah,
fantastic.
she's amazing.
If I miss your comments, guys, post it again because I'm reading them off the computer. I can only read 4 comments at a time and then they disappear. So Jessica says, because the government is so great at hiding how messed up, and I lost it. Brian says, Australians are under the delusion that animals only get horribly treated overseas. Yeah. River says, it's such a good response, Renee. Brilliant. That's.
Oh, thanks.
Helen says, really, Peter and RSPCA hurting animals? Yes. Peter apparently, if we do want to talk about, yes, well, Phoebe's mentioned there, wants to put all pets to be put to sleep. Yes, apparently Peter has a history of killing a lot of animals in some of the shelters that they're connected with or something in America.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
So I've also heard, I mean, maybe somebody that knows a bit more information about that can expand on that. I've also heard that they actually have, apparently for a good reason, they have shares in SeaWorld, apparently to be able to try and influence, yeah, that one amazed me.
Okay.
That apparently comes from a credible source, that they have shares in SeaWorld with the specific reason of being able to influence them from within, so that they can actually get majority shareholding or something and influence them from within. But when I heard it, I went, whoa, that's a little bit out there.
That's out there.
It's out there. So anyone has any feedback on that?
Wow.
Where are we? Mitzi says, people that quote the Bible to support the animal holocaust can be difficult. Tell them that Noah and the family have been vegan. Actually, all you have to do, and it's really simple to if you're online, is just type in vegan Christians. And it comes back with all the original Bible quotes. The thing that gets me about, and James Aspie came up against this recently, against a Christian that said that we're meant to be eating meat. He doesn't know his Bible very well.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his Bible. He doesn't know that it was changed in, what was the 14th century, and when the King James version was done and whatever. If you go back through the history, I can't remember all the details of it, but basically, if you go back to the original language that it was written in, the words, when they used certain words, they translated them to meat, was one of the things. Right? So that you get this misunderstanding of what the original quotes in the Bible were saying. You don't have to be religious to understand or believe the Bible. It's a history book. So so we'll just get that out of the road, okay? But yes, so some of the quotes were translated in some translations to the word meat. In others, they were translated to something that meant food but didn't directly have the word meat in it. That's some of the research I've done. But anyway, if you've got any trouble trying to convince Christians, just type in Christian vegans. There are groups that have all the quotes, and you can actually go through and go, yes, the Garden of Eden was vegan. They had the flood. I'm just going to do this really briefly. They had the flood. There was supposedly, actually, the quotes are that permission was given to eat animals only that had already died in the flood.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, that had already fallen in the flood, right? That was what the permission is. If you want to look at the original quotes in the Bible, that's what it says. It doesn't say you can kill the animals, because it's another excuse that Christians come up with. And they say, oh yeah, but God said, you know, we could kill the animals. No, he didn't. He actually said the animals that have fallen. Have a look at the quote. I did because I was curious, because somebody was using that excuse. So anyway, there you go. Enough of that. The reason I'm talking quicker tonight too, guys, is to try and get through all the quotes, because all the, things that are coming up. And I'm missing a lot, I know. And I haven't even shared this to all the forums I wanted to. So, okay. From Kamala Casts, I can't say your name, I'm sorry. Kamalaxadas, it's gone. Okay, sorry. Phoebe, I'll do yours. They deem animals to be enslaved when kept as a pet. I didn't, Okay, I'm just going to go from the quotes from the top, because they're going too quick. River says, Peter are horrible. They kill millions of animals per year. Anything the government or celebrities promote is fake, and we should question why they are pushing it. Good point, River. Without getting too deep into conspiracy theories. Brian says, I can prove animals' cruelty in a 10-second video. No, can prove God easily. Religion is based on faith. Veganism is based on fact. Yes. Well, yes. Done. Matt says the Bible is make-believe, like the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, and Santa Claus. I'll argue that one with you. It's actually historically verifiable. I'll put it that way. But anyway, we're not having a religious debate. Just for the record, I'm not in a religion. I'm in the spiritual path. Two completely different things. Religion is a man-based thing that just stuffs everything up and creates lots of wars. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. That's it. Spirituality is a personal journey you take within yourself, where you grow in a spiritual sense. It's a complete different thing. So anyway, that's just to define the difference between the two of them. But I have researched Christianity because I have friends that are pastors. I have a friend that is a friend that's a pastor, a friend that's a priest or something. I think I've forgotten their exact positions, and they've used that excuse.
Oh, wow.
They've used the meat excuse.
Oh, wow,
You know,
really?
animals were put on earth for us to eat, and I'm like, no, they weren't. And yeah, it sometimes comes up against a real big.
What happened to thou shalt not kill?
Yes, exactly. Commandment number 7 or whatever it is in the 10 Commandments. Exactly. I use it actually on my page. I use it a lot. Thou shalt not kill. Exactly.
Yeah.
But, yep, I know. It's just, again, it's another justification, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated with all the justifications?
Of course, yeah, and some of it's just crazy as well. But the way I see it with religion is, okay, if you can picture Jesus with a lamb, do you see Jesus with the lamb being kind, patting it, or do you see Jesus standing there with a knife cutting its throat? I mean, do you see him doing that? I can't see Jesus doing that.
No, it completely goes against what he taught.
Common sense.
It goes against what he taught.
Yeah.
What did he teach? Love.
Love and compassion.
Love and
kindness.
compassion, and the heart, and turn the other cheek. And the harder that your enemy is treating you, the more compassion you show them, which is what I was saying earlier. Right? You try and understand and be compassionate towards them. The complete opposite of the way that so many so-called Christian people actually treat the animals. So.
And obviously, we were given, a conscience, and I believe that's from, if there's a God, that would be from a God, and that's to help us sort out right from wrong. Wrong feels right for us from the gut.
Here what's right and wrong.
That's right. And if that's right, and we're meant to be doing that, why is everyone turning away from the screen? If that's what we're meant to be doing.
That's good. I like that.
It's just common sense.
Why do the animals feel pain?
Yeah.
Why do they? I mean, on Sunday just gone at one point there you had the sound on, and I was listening to it, had the mask on, and I was listening to it, and just listening to the sound without hearing, listening to the sound of the animals and what they were going through without actually seeing it, and that's enough to really make you go, well, obviously this is so wrong. You know it's so wrong. It's just, and so you get the three, you said earlier, the 3 types of people. Or the 3 types of reactions. And one is what? Turn away.
One is indifference.
Indifference.
One's anger and kind of hostility. And the other ones are the ones that are open.
So what about when you get, say, a couple, and I noticed this happen a few times now.
Yes.
Usually it's the more compassionate person, which is the female.
Usually the female.
Who sort of, yes, but that's true. That's a natural thing. That's how it works. That normally notices the TV and then starts looking, and I've started watching this now in the last 2 things that I've done, and I watched the partner. And I watched the partner sort of look and then turn away and then sort of try and distance himself a bit from it.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you go approaching those sort of people?
It is really difficult, because what I need to do, what I always do with people that are trying to pull away, and I know they're not going to be there long, or when there's a gentleman trying to pull his lady away, try and get out some facts as quickly as possible to get them into that first step of interest. So what I might say is about, are you aware that meat's carcinogenic? It's in the same category as asbestos. The World Health Organization has said that. I might mention how the United Nations says we're going to have fish oceans by 2048. So I'm just trying to trigger some interest really quickly.
That's good.
Because it's usually the man that's pulling his woman away, and she's the one that would be happy to hang around and talk.
It's actually, I personally, I think it's quite sad when I sorry, I got to blow my nose. I'm still recovering from a cold, guys. It's a bit sad when I see that somebody's not allowing the other person to be themselves.
Exactly.
They're like, oh no, I need you to be back the way they're controlling.
They're controlling.
Essentially, aren't they?
It's very controlling.
Rather than going, oh, okay, you do your thing, and I'll allow you to do it. Exactly. I find that sad. I just don't think that's the way that people should interact, but that's a whole different thing. We'll do that for another show on relationships. And
often with parents and children as well. That happens often.
It does too, doesn't it?
The kids are naturally interested.
Yes.
The kids stop and they do want to know what's going on. And the parents, no, you don't need to see this.
Oh.
And if I had $1 for every time I heard a parent say that and pull them away.
And isn't that, so you're actually seeing firsthand how kids end up becoming meat eaters in any case, how they lose their compassion.
How they lose it, that's right.
Because of the peer pressure, because of from the parents, from the family, from the significant people around them, whatever, whoever these people are, and it's like, no, I'm controlling you. You do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
That's not love.
Yeah.
That is not how love works. Love is letting go. Love is freedom. Love is if the kid goes to run out in traffic, sure, you grab them, you pull them back because you love them. You don't want to see them hurt.
Yeah.
But you also they need to create they need to have their awareness. That compassion needs to grow. You need to support them, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. And basically the parent is maintaining detachment for that child. So maintaining that child being detached from compassion and what's and the fact that it's animal flesh that's on their plate. They're making sure that barrier is there and that they're not making that connection, and that's frustrating.
I actually was going to say, but I knew I was going to ask you how frustrating you feel, but I knew you were going to say that because it is. It's really frustrating to see. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced it in other ways with kids that I've known that have shown interest in being more aware, and I've seen their parents pull them back. Not in these nets, but in other areas, and it's just. Yeah, I find it very, very sad. It's so a shout out to all the parents that do the right thing, that do allow their kids to actually think for themselves, to actually come from the heart, and you're a parent. You know how to do. You know how to do this. You support them.
Yeah,
you meet them halfway. If they're interested in something, you sort of encourage them to grow in that direction. Yeah. So it's a bit different to like, no, I say you should eat all the meat on your plate and all this rubbish. It's just, what's that? That's fear-based. That's not love.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Control is fear-based.
That's exactly right.
And it's very sad that there should be a parent test. It's very sad when parents do that. I'm sorry guys, we have missed a lot of comments because I really was getting to the point where I was just trying to feed through the comments and not actually get a chance to talk to you, Renee. Okay, so let me just see how the comments are going here. What we can do, I'll make it up to you guys, what we can do is we can, after the live stream, of course, yourself or myself can answer. I can answer what I can. You can answer what you can. If not tonight, tomorrow, whatever, you can just go back through them because the comments will still be there. So if we've missed your comments, guys, and if you like a good debate, I'll answer it. And if you want the facts, Renee will answer it. So Mitzi says, I give people the truth and tell them their goal is for them to feel guilt, but I missed that. I'm sorry, I missed that one too. Parent, eat all your veggies. Parent, don't want how your meat is made. Okay, this is Brian saying, don't. No, I can't. I'm not sure what word you want to do.
Don't watch
how your meat is made. Okay. Mitzi says it is child abuse to tell an empathic child to not take it to heart or think about the animal's suffering. Spot on, Mitzi. I'll second that. It is. It's child abuse. Jessica says, if I took my 4-year-old sister to Macca's and told her she is eating nuggets, she is happy to eat them. But if I tell her they are chicken nuggets, she won't touch them. Interesting.
It's a natural sense of compassion.
It is a natural sense of compassion.
And we beat that compassion out of them through brainwashing.
And it's just so wrong.
It's so wrong. It's generation after generation that's doing this. They're doing it unconsciously. I don't believe it's malicious. I just believe it's,
okay, that's a good point. That actually helps.
Itself.
No, I like what you've said there. They're doing it unconsciously. They've been conditioned into it. You don't believe it's malicious. Now that's good. I like that understanding of people because that means we don't consider them the enemy then.
They're not the enemy.
No, they're just uninformed.
Like I was.
Just okay. So that's good because otherwise, if you think a person's intent is malicious, then you start judging them.
Exactly.
That seems to be a natural response of most people. It's like, oh, how dare you do that? You think they're wrong because So okay, if we understand. And we come from that compassionate viewpoint, then that's really good. That's helpful.
Mean, our entire society is built around us not finding out this information.
Yes. Well, that's right. And we mentioned, I was going to mention earlier about animal agriculture subsidies and that by the government. Yeah. Because that's another thing, isn't it? That I've read that they wouldn't survive without the subsidies.
That's right.
So
I heard that a McDonald's burger would be about $13 or something instead of $5.
Is that what they are? $5, aren't they? Yeah.
For example, more than double. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. And anyway, you should be going to Feed the Earthlings. I mean,
Yes.
seriously. I mean, isn't it fantastic? Right, another shout out to, I do this nearly every show, another shout out to Feed the Earthlings.
Yeah.
Fantastic that they won Best Burger on the Coast against all the meat places. A vegan place won, 100% vegan.
I was so happy.
That is so awesome.
And they provide us with free burgers to give out. Like, who does
You guys
that?
rock. In 2 weeks' time,
Amazing.
in 2 weeks' time, Tiki from Feed the Earthlings is on the show.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I hope she brings me some burgers.
Awesome.
Tiki, if you're watching, bring me some burgers, please. Mitzi said, I meant is not to feel guilt, but to feel good about who you are. Okay, so that was in reference to your earlier comment, which I have to read all of to get. Brian says, when I was a kid, I wanted to reduce animal products, and a parent must have talked him out of that. Sorry, guys, if I'm having trouble. I've had a cold since Monday of last week, and it's still lingering. And this up here, it's trying to work. It's just having difficulty getting it all together. So I'm fumbling through some stuff here. I'm doing the best I can. I couldn't cancel another week. Kashina says, Kashina, excellent, from Spacebar says, I can't wait to get to Feed the Earthling. Don't tell me you've never been, surely. My daughter changed the vivisection policy at a university, Mitzi says. That is fantastic. Can you tell us more about that, Mitzi? Michael McNally. Michael, how are you? Good to have you watching. Nothing but respect for the work Renee and the crew on the Gold Coast do. I had the chance to join Renee and others one evening in Surfers when I was up there from Sydney, and I quickly realised that you face more resistance than we generally do in Sydney.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Keep up the amazing work. Okay. Now, Kim is replying to a comment from Brian that says, it's awful that his parents wanted him to eat meat. I think that's what the comment was. My parents were both really supportive. I was lucky. You were lucky. See, then that's what we were talking about, supportive parents. What a different world we'd have if we had supportive parents. If we had parents that listened to their children.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a show on parenting. If you're vegan and you're a parent expert, I want you on the show, because this is something that, I just have, it's my frustration. But I just think there should be ways that kids should be brought up, and I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Matt says, when I was first fed meat, I thought it was weird knowing it was an animal, but I ate it because I was told I had to. See, here we go.
Yeah.
See, all these things are coming through, the truthisms.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'll say, while we're talking about parents and that, to the credit of my parents, when I was younger, before I went vegan at 16. Before that, and I can't remember, my parents temporarily went vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
Twice.
Yeah.
Temporarily, maybe for a month or two or something like that. But they were people that were open to change and different ideas, And then a year ago, they've gone vegetarian again. Now they've been vegetarian for just over a year. And I'm subtly saying to Mum, you just got to get rid of the last little bits of dairy there, it's, there's alternatives and all that, So,
yeah.
Brian's asked a question, and yes, Brian, your question is valid, because it's part of what we want to talk about. But there's something else we want to talk about as well. Okay, Phoebe says, I refused meat at age 15 and had to leave home because I was given an ultimatum.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it incredible?
That's terrible.
It is terrible. It's incredible that the so-called adults are actually a lot of the so-called adults that we look to for guidance, our parents and that, are actually so insecure and fearful. And as a child, I experienced this very strongly. As a child, the supposed role models in my life didn't seem to know much.
That's right.
And it was really like, I'm asking questions, I'm not getting answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, and nowadays I see this a lot, because I look for it and I see so much intelligence and awareness in the younger people and in the kids and that, and I just think it's so sad that it's beaten, as you say, compassion is beaten out of them, you were saying.
It really is. And I think as well, when you get older, you kind of, unless you're open to look at things from a different perspective, people get scared that they're wrong about something.
Oh, yes.
And they need to be right about that. And I think it's more subconscious. I don't think they're doing it deliberately, but so they kind of go on the defensive and they attack a little bit, which is why I guess she had the ultimatum of having to move out of home. It's like those parents couldn't afford to be wrong.
That's right.
How could they face that if they were wrong for all those years?
Psychologically, yes. If you've lived by a certain lifestyle or whatever, and then you're told that the way you're living your life is wrong, your first reaction is defense, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
too
like
confronting.
it's too confronting. Don't tell me what I'm doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And people literally say that, won't they?
Yeah.
You probably get people like that at the AV events saying that, you know. So there's we will get now. Brian wants you to talk about your vegan journey, which we're going to in a moment. Kerry has said, I'm sure Renee has some golden nuggets about being a parent, and I'm sure you do. We have to do another show where you talk about just parenting, I think. Brian says, Phoebe is amazing, does the right thing at her own expense no matter what. Yes, Phoebe. Big shout out to Phoebe for going vegan at 15. That is awesome. Jelena says, since I worked on changing laws, first thing was to implement it in criminal law. What I did, but worked on it for 5 years. We now have Article 269 of criminal law in Serbia, by which cruelty to animals is forbidden by law, but enforcement is not happening. Court is not trained, police are not trained. It's such a big job. We still need to work more. We need to work more. Jelena or Helena, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your first name right. That is fantastic that you've been working on changing laws. That is really, really fantastic. And yes, so that's a step in the right direction, because that's a big thing, isn't it?
Huge.
That the animals are not given the rights legally that they should be.
Yeah, so, well, that's exactly right.
And Matt says, and I always said I loved animals, but it was only some animals. Speciesism taught at its best. Yes. Yeah. George says, I don't know how much you guys know about the Australian Zoo, but I'd really love to know your thoughts. Have you got any thoughts on the Australian Zoo?
I haven't been there, so I don't want to judge until I've been there.
Yeah.
I don't like any type of captivity.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't been there.
Animals should be in their natural environment. I like the way they do it, like in Africa, where you can go out on safari, but the animals are still in their natural state.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get on to your vegan journey, right?
Okay.
And I also want to talk about this amazing thing that you did at SeaWorld as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And while I think of it, because before I forget, we haven't held this up. Just there, I'm just getting it right for both cameras. So it's backwards on the Facebook live stream tonight, but it'll be the right way around on the YouTube one, which will be up in a day or two. The Vegan Easy booklet. This is some of the material that you hand out to people that are interested in going further.
Yep, that's what we hand out at the events.
Yeah, at the Cube. Excellent. How did you go? How did you go vegan? What prompted you to go vegan?
Well, sadly, my journey was over about 2 decades, and I hate that. I hate that. When I first moved out of home, I remember cooking up some mince, and I remember seeing a whole heap of blood, and I remember being repulsed by it, and just thinking, well, there's something really wrong with me drinking that blood. Yeah. And that turned me off red meat. Yeah. So I was still having chicken and seafood and all the rest for quite a while. I think it was about 10 years ago I gave up chicken, which I thought I would never do, because I used to love chicken. And I said to myself I'd never give up chicken, but I did. And then I was pescatarian for quite a while. Yeah. And then it was my New Year's resolution in 2016 to go vegan. And because I found out about the dairy industry and found out those truths that we weren't doing cows a favour by milking them. Yeah. And I had no idea that we were taking the baby away. I thought even if a cow had to be forcibly impregnated, they would have allowed the baby to stay with the mother and to share the milk. Yeah. I was so naive. Yeah. But yes, it's the best thing I've ever done, and it's changed me in ways I never expected as well.
Yeah, such as?
I've definitely found myself a lot more sensitive and compassionate.
Yes.
Yeah, like I can cry very easily. Like all the emotions are right on the surface now.
Yeah, that's actually, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I believe it's how we should be as humans naturally.
I agree.
It scares me the way that people hide their emotions.
Yep.
And that's not normal, it's not natural, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
So that's good. I love that you've shared that. That is fantastic. Then you've experienced it.
And I think as well, and a lot of vegans will say this, that so much less materialistic now, and that's happened naturally without me even thinking about it. Yes. I never go and spend time in shopping centres wanting to buy things, because now I feel like I found my purpose. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm doing something that actually means something. Yes. Like
it's powerful, isn't it?
There's nothing more powerful, and I just want to say to the vegans out there, if you're not doing animal activism, you don't know what you're missing. It's the most empowering,
That's getting a
Oh,
lot of thumbs up
Oh,
and hearts and.
I'm going to try really hard not to get emotional,
Yeah.
but when you do animal activism and you do something for the animals, you get back just as much in return as what you're putting out into the world. I really believe in karma, and I'm spiritual as well. And really,
I
what
knew
you
you were.
what you put out there really is what you give back,
Yes.
what you get back.
What you
And
get back. Yeah.
you really like. And if I outreach and I'm, communicating with someone who's open and they're receiving the information, and I know they're going to look into it further, it's the biggest high that I could get.
Yes.
There's no bigger high than that for me.
That's spot on.
Yeah.
It's in service that we find ourselves.
Yeah.
So, and in service to the animals, to the voiceless.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you go home and it's like, well, I've done what I know as a human I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing you. It's beautiful what you shared then. I think, anyone that doesn't feel motivated by that, please feel motivated by that. If you're on the Gold Coast, I can highly recommend the way that Renee runs Anonymous for the Voiceless is so well organised. It's a pleasure I've only been along personally to 2 events. Something for me, I mean, I've been vegan a long, long time, but something for me just a few weeks ago sort of went, I need to go along and do this. Just something clicked, the time was right. And I went along and it was like, this is great. I love the fact that you were set up early, that you were just had everything thought of. And I'm just like, man, this is good. I can relate to when things are done the right way, it's perfect, So, and then I listened to you and the other activists there talking to the public. And I thought, this is great. I'm learning from this, and then, I've read some other stuff about how to approach people since then. And I realize, and this is a wonderful thing to admit, I realize how little I know. Just because I've been vegan for 37 years doesn't mean I know a lot. I realize how little I know and how much more I need to learn and how much more I can learn in how to approach people in that. And if I just take your advice to come from the heart and just go with the stuff that I do know and what I know is right as a compassionate human being in the way that we need to treat others, then the answers will come. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I find that I've talked to a couple of people Sunday gone and a couple of people the Sunday before, and basically just wanted to know, question them like you were doing, basically asking where they're coming from, what are they thinking, what are they feeling, and really just sort of find out a bit more about them, and so that I can sort of tap into what's important to them. Yeah. Do you find that you do that sort of? Yes. It's good to find out whether you need to go down the avenue of the animals or health or the environment. Yes. So it is good to quickly kind of find out, are they interested in the animals' welfare, or maybe they're more interested in their health. And obviously, that's a good thing to quickly sort out. Yes, because some people have no interest in the environment or have never thought of it. Yeah. But their personal health is really. Yeah. Would you say out of those areas, out of the animal rights, out of the environment, out of the health, what would you say is the most? Would you say there's one that sticks out more than others? I'd say animals would be the top, and then probably health and personal health. And then environment. I'd say, and that'd be right too, because with animals, because of what you're showing on the TV. Because of what we're showing. The angle you're coming from. And most people have a pet, and if you can kind of talk to them about, why is a dog, that different to a pig? And if you can get them thinking about that idea, they can kind of make that connection. Have you found that people are, I'm assuming you ask them if they have a pet, and then get them a look, and that sort of, people are happy when they talk about their pet, aren't they? They start smiling, they start, you can see the love they have for their pet. Yeah. So that gets them on side a bit more, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And something I often will say to people is, if your dog had puppies, would you drink the milk from your dog? And people find that an easy thing to kind of think of in their head. Yeah. And they think, well, hang on, why are we drinking cow's milk? That's good. What's the difference? Yeah, that's excellent. I love it. I love it. You know your stuff. Oh, for someone I'm always learning though, Harry. I've got to say as well to people who think they can't do activism, I'm learning every day still about, how I can be better at doing what I do, and, it's a journey, So for somebody that's watching that wants to help out, but might feel a little bit unsure about helping out or whatever, so what advice would you give them?
Well, first, what I want to say is when we do the cube, you can be in the cube with a mask, so you don't actually need to speak to people if that's not something you're comfortable with. When I first joined, I was in the cube for maybe between, I can't remember, 5 to 10 sessions, just standing in the cube and listening to the outreaches and seeing the way they approach people. And then I was also watching a lot of documentaries and learning my stuff in the background. So,
excellent.
there's lots of different things you can do. There's, people that are more introvert, or if you're extrovert, do what suits you. There's lots of different ways of getting involved.
We see different styles, don't we?
Yes.
We have the Bryans and the Dannys that are quite out there. And then you get people that prefer to just talk quietly and just, that's how they connect with people.
Yes, exactly.
So it's we all have our different talents, and we have our different talents, and we just work with what works best for us. Now, I wanted to mention what your proudest moment.
Yes.
Your proudest moment.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know about this. Well, I knew about the protest. So, talk to me about your proudest moment in activism.
Yes, it would definitely be the SeaWorld protest that we did that made, international news. It was huge. And
international news.
It did.
This was here on the Gold Coast at
Here
SeaWorld.
on the Gold Coast at SeaWorld. And so a bunch of activists went in paid to go into SeaWorld, and we waited for the 11 o'clock dolphin show. We all had signs in our bags, and someone had a megaphone, and I don't know how that got in. And
you ever tried smuggling a megaphone?
After about 5 minutes, the megaphone went off, and let me just say, I was petrified. I was shaking. I was so scared. This was
I
at
was
the beginning
petrified
of my
watching the video, and I didn't know you guys were in that.
This was like towards the beginning of my activism, but I just knew it was right that I did this, and I just stuck with that, and I made it about the animals. It wasn't about me.
So talk us through what you actually did.
So the megaphone went off. We all jumped up, and we all sat near the aisles. We all walked down the front, and we all put up big signs: "Animals not for entertainment. Captivity is cruelty." And of course, a guy comes out of the audience, a big fat guy, and was trying to pull the signs down and everything. I was the only one that kind of fought him off. I broke a shoe, I broke my thong, but I kept my sign and I put it back up again.
I remember seeing someone fight. That was you fighting.
That was me.
Oh my goodness. So, I'll have to rewatch that video now.
Yes, but what happened was, so we ended up getting kicked out eventually, but a week later, Robin, who I believe is watching, I saw his name earlier, paid for a plane to fly over at the same time dolphin show, at the 11 o'clock dolphin show, with a plane that said Justice for Captives.
Wow.
And Justice for Captives rang me up and said, can you go down to SeaWorld now, and Channel 7 News want to, do an interview? And I'm like, oh my God, holy crap, I've got half an hour. So I'm in the car, and Liz, who was there also, I'm just like going over these lines, and I'm petrified. I was so scared. But it made the news, and it honestly is my proudest moment, because it wasn't about me, it was about the animals.
Was that earlier this year, or was that last year?
I can't remember when that was. That was last year.
Last year. If we wanted to see that video again, where would we find it? Is it on? Oh, it'd be somewhere, won't it?
It'd be on YouTube.
It'd be on YouTube somewhere. Yeah.
But can you put in the search bar, I think, on Facebook, and just put in SeaWorld protest, and I think it will come up. Okay,
I'm going to try and link to it after the show.
Yeah.
And I'll put that video. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube or on Facebook and see how I go. I've never seen so many hearts and thumbs up and smiles, and it's just non-stop. I mean, you guys are fantastic, really, really fantastic. And Brian says, I've got Trevor who runs SeaWorld Australia to agree to watch Cowspiracy.
Wow.
Brian, you never cease to amaze. He actually doesn't eat fish either. And Linda said Brian is shy and retiring. Yeah, right. Now, listen. There's been a lot of comments we didn't get to tonight, and I might just give a little bit more time to that. I know we've gone for an hour now, but if there's something really, really pressing that somebody's commented, and if you just want to bring it back up again so that we can address it now, and the rest of the comments we'll get to later. Otherwise, I'm going to start winding up, because, I mean, we can go over time. I can talk for days, but even with a cold, I know. Lindy says, I watched it
Oh.
over and over. Renee, well done. Oh,
Thank
that
you,
was
Lindy.
the video.
Yeah.
Lindy, maybe
Thank you.
if you've got the link to that video, the Seaboard protest, feel free, or if anyone else has got it or finds it on YouTube, feel free to put it in the comments.
People are so sweet.
You're a brave animal. Well, see, this is it.
Aw.
You're a spiritual person, right? And you understand, as you
Yeah.
said earlier, that what you give out, you get back. You know,
Yeah.
you give out love, you get back. You
Yeah.
give out anger, what do you get back?
Exactly.
And how many times, as a person that looks for the spiritual understanding of things, how many times have you seen people living their lives complaining about the world?
Yeah.
But then when you look at the way they're living their life and you see the anger they're giving out,
Yes.
all they're getting is that reflection back.
That's exactly right.
It's like, okay, you're not seeing, I mean, we see it when we're detached from it.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
When you're caught in the emotion of it, you don't see the reflection.
That's
you know?
right. Like attracts like.
Yes.
So whatever vibrational energy you're at that time, you're going to attract.
Mm.
So you've got to be careful what you're putting out there, because that's what you're going to get back.
We've got, and this is why it's important. I'll go back to what I was saying earlier and what we were saying earlier. There was some comments on it as well about loving the unlovable, or being more compassionate towards the people that are giving us a hard time.
Yeah.
We have to be it's very easy to be judgmental and go, how dare you treat me that way?
Yeah.
This is not good for us personally to do that.
Yeah.
Because
and you never know what someone's been through in their life.
Exactly.
How can you judge them?
We can't judge them.
Yeah.
We don't know ourselves well enough, let alone to judge anyone else, do we?
That's right.
We're
That's
learning
exactly
about
right.
ourselves all the time. We don't really know our heart that well. We know
Yeah.
we're compassionate. We don't know the way we think that well. We just don't know ourselves that
Yeah.
well. We're learning every minute of every
Yeah.
day. For us to turn around and go, well, you shouldn't have said that. That's a call that's, you know, you point that, you've got three pointing back at you. You can't make that call, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone on a spiritual tangent now, which means I'll go for another hour. There are three things. There are three businesses. There's our business, there's their business, and there's God's business.
Mm.
I'm not asking you to believe in God, but that's the three businesses. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
What can you control? Your own business.
Yeah, that's exactly
it.
right.
You can't control somebody else's business. You can't control God's business.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. If you want to say the universe's business, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the way it works. Control the things that's wisdom. Spiritual wisdom is learning what you can control.
Exactly.
And-
And also, you know, the way people act towards you is just a reflection of them. It
Just a
actually has
reflection.
nothing to do with us. Nothing.
What you say about somebody
Yeah.
tells me everything about you and very little or nothing about them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
When you step away, when you see that reflection, it's something I've been learning for about 4 years ago, actually. A girlfriend told me about this. The first time I came across it really strongly, the mirror of life and the reflection. And I started thinking, this is interesting. And she told me a bit about it. And then I've seen it, and I've seen it again and again and again. The lesson keeps repeating. So I see this reflection. And it gets to the point where you train yourself to see it in other people, and you see it really clearly.
Yeah.
You can get to the point.
Yeah.
And you know what I believe, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this, when you see it clearly in other people, you feel more compassionate towards them.
You do. Absolutely.
actually feel
I
for them.
feel for them.
You
Yes.
do, you feel for them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So if you
Yeah.
can see what other people are going through, you might know what they're going through, but their actions are indicating very
Yeah.
clearly. They're indicating they're not at peace in themselves.
Yeah.
So if they're upset, if they're angry, if they're yelling at you, whatever, they're
Yeah.
not upset, they're not at peace in themselves. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's
Anger
about
is pain. That's all that is.
Yes, it's true. It's pain
Yeah.
and fear as well, I think.
And
Anger
fear,
and fear,
yeah.
So feel for the person that's directing anger towards you, whether it's your partner, whether it's your parents, whether it's your kid, whether it's a stranger, whether it's your workmate or whatever. Try and just step back. Don't take it personally. I know we've gone right off on a spiritual
Yeah, we haven't
tangent
been,
here,
haven't we?
but this is life advice. This is one of Harry's life lessons. This is important, and this actually helps with activism
It really helps.
because
with
we're going to
activism.
come up with these challenges.
Almost every time we
Almost
get at
every
least
time.
one person that's, you know, negative, a little bit aggressive. I won't say aggressive. What's the right word?
Well, they can be.
Defensive.
Defensive.
Yeah.
Defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can
So
be.
you need to be able to keep your composure. That's important.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know what's another thing I want to say? It's all right if you lose your composure too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're all human.
We're all human. That's okay. You just do what you can do. You know,
It's just important to have a pure intention.
pure intention,
you know,
beautiful, beautiful, pure
That's all
intention.
you can do.
And yeah, so and where's that come from? It comes from the heart.
Comes from the heart.
Yeah.
Always come
Yeah.
from the heart.
I just wanted to make that definition that we don't beat ourselves up if we lose our composure of that, because trying to be perfect is actually not a good goal to try and achieve.
That's
It
right.
stresses you too much.
That's
Stresses
right.
us too much. So.
Nobody's perfect. The only thing that matters is that we're open. So are we open to looking at our own behaviour? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And if we're always open to learning new things, looking at things from a different perspective, looking at our own behaviour, that's all that matters.
You know, I didn't know tonight's show would go on a spiritual
Oh,
tangent at the
no,
end.
sorry.
But no, do not apologise, because that's just stepped it up a bit more, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
being on the show. That was a bit of a stretch, wasn't it?
Sorry about that. Can I also mention Liz, who helps run it with me?
Yeah, please. I'm
Please,
sorry,
I need to mention
sorry
Liz
that we haven't mentioned Liz.
Yeah, she every
Yes.
single week
Liz
she runs
is
it with
awesome.
me. She
Yes,
is. I couldn't do it without her.
it is a duo. Yes,
It really
It
is.
is a duo, and I should have. I'm sorry, Liz, that we didn't mention that.
No, I
Because
don't want to make
originally-
it out that it's just me by myself, because I can't do it without her.
I originally invited just Renee on, and then afterwards I thought maybe I should have had both of you on, but I'd already made the commitment. So, okay, so I did actually ask if anyone had any important comments, and then I never got to them. So. Forget that. Sorry, guys. All the comments will have to be answered later, because I've really, really, really appreciated all the comments. I've appreciated people watching from places like Serbia and Israel, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It just the love has been
So much
fantastic.
love.
The love has been fantastic.
Yeah.
If there's one, please. If
Yeah,
there's
sorry.
I know you're going to. If there's one thing that you could share.
One thing I do want to share is, oh my God, I love so much my people. Like Anonymous, I've met the best people. Like
what a crew.
Like Brian and Joshy and Liv, River. Oh my God, they melt my heart. Like they're my family, truly. Thank you guys so much for
you guys rock.
Making my life so happy. Truly.
You guys absolutely rock. A big shout out to all you people taking your time, your energy, you know, the money, whatever it takes to go out there and protect the rights of the defenceless and the voiceless is just amazing. So, what a world that we're creating with people like that. It's just fantastic. It touches my heart. So,
I hope I didn't miss anyone there. Did I say Matt? Everyone. Everyone. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very, very much for watching the show tonight. I know we've gone a little bit over time, but really it's been a great participation tonight. In fact, I think it's been the best we've ever had. So, no, I'd love to get you back on the show again further down the track, and we can talk all things spiritual instead. Now, I better mention that next week for episode 21, we have Steve from the Flower of Life Bakery.
Wow. Awesome.
Now, Steve was on the show last year, just around about the time the Flower of Life was opening.
Yeah.
So, and so many people know about Flower of Life Bakery now.
Yes.
They hadn't really heard of it then.
Yeah.
They heard it was going to open, and so many people comment on it and love it. So Steve will be back on the show. He'll be on the show next week, and I look forward to talking to him. So, guys, this has been episode 20 with Renee from Anonymous for the Voiceless on Tuesday, June the 6th. Remember my sponsors, Vegan Frothers and Burley Town Stories in the background there. You can get your cruelty-free clothing from Vegan Frothers. I will see you next week. Until then, live vegan and save lives. And thank you once again for being on the show.
Larry.
So
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week, and speak up for the animals, guys.